Hey everybody, hey, welcome back to A Good Things Marriage Chat. I'm Tiara.
And I am Adrian. Welcome
Welcome back,
back.
y'all.
Welcome back. Before we introduce our lovely, lovely guest over here, let's do some housekeeping rules. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do the other things. We love you. We appreciate you. We support you. You see the knuckle sandwiches over there is ready. Okay? She ain't afraid to use it. So y'all see our cute little guests over here. Let me tell you about these folks over here. I just love them so much. I met Miss Ke'Ira maybe oh, it's been a long time. I met Ke'Ira a long time ago, and I don't even want to say the years, but it was a long time
It
ago.
was before autumn.
It was way before autumn. So I met Keeks a long time ago, and she has just been in my heart and in my life since then. I love her. I call her big sister almighty. She is the best in the world. We have Miss Ke'Ira Lewis and Uncle Curtis Lewis. We love Uncle
Hello,
Curtis. He's a
hello.
teddy bear.
Welcome, both of
Hello.
you.
And please let the record show that I love you more. Okay?
Oh,
I will slap somebody for you, girl. You just point them out.
I'm gonna save the point outs for later.
Yeah.
Be a few people out here that need to be slapped. So y'all, on today's episode for our meat and potatoes, we are yes, the meat and the potatoes because I like to eat. We are talking about having fun with your spouse and reconnecting. And I thought who better to do this with than the Lewises. So we're gonna jump right on into the questions. Twee's gonna start us off, and then y'all just spill it.
So first, Lewis says, tell us, how did you guys meet? How long you've been together? How long you've been married?
Absolutely. How you
Um,
take that, babe?
so we met in sixth grade, which is somewhere in the mid 90s. Um, we were in middle school and then we went to high school. We became closer in high school, freshman year, sophomore year, and then we started dating junior year. So we're high school sweethearts. We have been married for 23 years, and so 25 years together.
That's
So,
awesome.
I love how he fired that off. He didn't have to think about it, okay? Most
Right.
men be like, oh, but I was like, nah, because see, you were back in 94.
But for real, that's beautiful. We love to hear it. We love to see it.
Mhm.
Because you guys know, I know you guys probably know Cortez and Adrian's history, but my husband and I've been together a very long time as well. We might as well say we were middle school sweethearts. And so anytime I hear Black love that's been together a long time, it's just a beautiful thing because that
Yeah.
means that you guys have seen some things, experienced some things,
Ooh.
you've learned one another, and you've been putting in the work.
Mhm.
So,
And one thing about it is no matter how long you've been together, you're gonna always still be learning.
oh
What I
yeah,
mean, because of the different phases of life that we enter.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that is
we've had
definitely.
to grow. It's one thing to grow up on your own. You become a
Mhm.
young adult, then you become, a seasoned adult, and then here we are in the middle of life. And along the way, you have to understand how you have changed. But when you get married so young, you're both growing together. And
Hmm.
sometimes you can either grow with each other or you can grow apart. We've had a little bit of both over the 25 years, but that is just the one challenge, major challenge of because you're trying to figure yourself out at the same time of growing with someone else.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Mhm.
I think both Adrian and I have experienced that as well. And you know, a lot of people look at the cute side of having a middle school or high school sweetheart and how good that sounds and how sweet that is. And it is, but to your point, it's like you really have to consider like you were still figuring out who you were and learning yourself,
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
alone figuring out how to love this human being on top of all the changes, the changes and the growing and the different things that come up in raising children and parenting and loving one another and figuring out each other because as Kiara said, you're going to change. And
Absolutely.
so it's definitely a learning process and it's a decision that you make daily to love this person.
It's that
Mhm.
part, the decision. I hate to hear people say, and I correct them. So, whether they like me after I get to correcting them, that's fine and dandy. But I hate to hear people say, oh, marriage is such hard work. Well, the truth is that marriage is definitely work, but it does not have to be hard. It's
Yeah.
us that
Mhm.
makes it hard.
Hmm.
It wasn't designed biblically to be hard work. That's our human flesh that comes into the picture and causes things to be hard. So
Hmm.
it's the choices that we make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That is definitely, definitely, definitely true.
Yeah.
So, with you all being together for so long, and you have a wonderful son. So we got Uncle Curtis over here, but their son is Grandpa Curtis. That's Grandpa. That's granddaddy over there. So with you all, having your son, you guys are recent empty nesters. Um, how have you all like kept things fun with you all like versus like from when KJ was at home with you and then now that he's gone, like what are some things that you all do to just keep it fun for your marriage, for your relationship?
Well, the first thing is being intentional. So our son is a Marine, so he's away serving the Marine Corps. His senior year of high school, we made the decision to start acting as if we were empty nesters so that when he did leave, it's not something that we like, oh my goodness, what we going to do? It's something that, we can kind of transition in as smoothly as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have some days where we just like, hey, hey, you want to do something, but it wasn't as bad because we were intentional about trying to fall into that new chapter
Mhm,
that we were headed to, knowing that he was getting ready to leave home.
mhm,
But I think for us, because we grew up together, because we were best friends before we started being boyfriend and girlfriend, having fun with each other can come easy. It came
mhm,
easy because we're still friends. I think that's the most important thing that couples, especially married couples, need to be and not forget to be, and that's friends. And so, what would you do with your friend? You will go hang out, except that this friend, I get to hang out with him and get him some booty. So, it's just like a twofold situation. And that's a lot of fun.
Mm, mm, mm. Um, yes. So she said that we started preparing for this empty nesting his senior year. I started well before that, going into high school. I knew that he was not going to stick around. He wasn't going to go to college more than likely. I entered the Air Force 2 days after graduation. So therefore, my son, seeing that being a service brat, I figured through his interest that he was going to do the same thing. He entered ROTC. He excelled at it. He was the commander of the Corps his first semester of his senior year. And so, therefore, after he started talking to the different branches, I figured out that he was going to go ahead and fly the nest. So I prepared myself well before that, telling him that at 18 he had to get out anyway. Mom did not like that, but I was playing, but I was not playing because go ahead and step out, see what the world is about. We're always your safety net, if you do need to fall back home. But then that led into me and her having a conversation of, we need to make sure we like each other still. It's been 18 years, and I work with a lot of people where I've seen their children leave the house, and then they figured out that I don't really like my spouse. I had to be a parent for the past X amount of years, and that becomes the personality of you to the point where you can't figure out once they're all gone what to do. And so, like she said, we've been best friends since ninth grade. So therefore, it is easy for us to fall into a routine where, we try to do certain things. We try to go to restaurants. We intentionally try, well, let me say, she intentionally tries to find these different avenues of things to do, wine tastings, things like that, poetry nights, outside of her open mic. So it makes it easy when you live with a event planner whose mind is always on creative mode. So yeah, that's how we kind of keep it afloat. And then the other part of it is that a lot of times we are ships in the night. I work shift work, so they're out of a 28-day set, I may see her 5 days. So we make the best of those, 4 to 5 days that we are together.
That's amazing.
And I think
Yeah.
also, to add to everything that he just said, because just going back to the fact that because we are best friends, we were best friends before becoming an intimate couple, we, to keep our marriage fun, we still do things that we used to do when we were kids, when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, we never let that die, because that's also nostalgia. And so that also makes you go back to reminiscing on things as well. We have our movie nights. We watch our shows that we used to watch when we were younger. When we were in high school, I worked. He played football. So those times when I may get off work and he's done with practice, or if I'm off that day and when he's done with practice, I'll come over, we'll order pizza and wings, and we watch movies and shows. And that's still something we do to this day. We don't let the nostalgia die down either. When we were stationed in California before we had our son, we didn't have KJ until 3 years into the marriage. Grey's Anatomy was our thing. Desperate Housewives, all of those shows, we made appointments with one another to make sure that we watched those shows. And to this day, we'll go back and watch them, even though we finished the seasons, we'll rewatch it just to, spend that time with one another.
Yeah, you guys made some really good points because I remember having a point some years back. I don't know how far back this was. We have two daughters, and one is 19. She's still here at home, and we have a 16-year-old. But at some point, something hit me. I'm like, man, I was like, it's not too long before we get ready to be empty nesters. I need to make sure that I feel like we're good, but I want to make sure we're good. And so I've wanted to start having those intentional conversations about, like, yeah, we do go on date nights, but I want to make sure that it's more than just a sporadic date night, that we're having like intentional, regular, enjoying conversations with one another and being intentional with the time we have, not getting too comfortable and just sitting around watching TV. And because I'm also that wife that likes to find all these things to do, but my husband he gotta be ready. I can't just sprout stuff on him. I gotta be ready. Like, hey, I seen this event. I think we should go here and do this, do this.
I
But he got.
understand that.
I'm about to say he's that way too. Don't think I'm out here just willy nilly like, hey, go get dressed. We going. No, it's a
Yeah,
process.
yeah, it is. But we had to learn that too. Like, no, we need to be very intentional about making trips, making plans, making date night, pick a day a week that no matter what, we're gonna have this time. And it's been good. So I feel like we're in a really good place now for, when they do, that we won't be sitting around twiddling our thumbs, because that was a fear of mine for a while. it was a fear. So I'm glad, we're not dealing with that anymore. But
Yeah,
intentionality is definitely important.
So
intentionality, intentional. Though that's one of my favorite words. It weighs a big measure in
Yeah.
its meaning.
so this summer, KJ's been gone. I think this is pulling up on 2 years. Yes, this is pulling up on 2 years in June. And
Hmm.
so this summer, beginning of the summer, I think we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of coffee dates and stuff, brunches in the middle of the week and things like that there that we found to fill that time. We went bowling, I think, once. So just the middle of the weekdays because she runs her own business and stuff. So therefore that leaves that open to where we can get out and do things when it's not packed out there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
that's I think that's good to hear from, all three of you, especially because I still got little rugrats at home. So it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna go by fast, but it's gonna be a minute before, we're empty nesters. But to you all's point, I think it would even now be good for me and Cortez to have conversations about like, well, what does it look like when they leave? And, are we gonna go on date nights? And like, I think it's good for us to start thinking about this too. So I'm glad that you all like brought that up because not only me but newlyweds too that are about to embark on this journey of being married, they're probably not even thinking about keeping the spark alive, keeping the fun going and things like that. And then when they start having children, people do tend to get lost into parenthood. So I'm so glad that you all brought that up because that reassures me to make sure that I'm like preparing.
And I'm gonna tell you, Adrian, I feel that you have a better advantage even
Mhm.
now because babysitters.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't want to watch those cute baby girls? So you all can be getting ready even now by, being okay with taking them. And I know that they do go to Nana and Papa a lot.
Yeah.
So be unapologetic about that, having the
Mhm.
babysitters come over or taking them to the babysitters so that you all can go on as many date nights as you want to, even in the now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Well, we're gonna transition into the thing that makes me blush at it. I'm
Let's
working on
talk
it.
about sex,
Ah!
baby.
Well, since you said it, not me. But keeping things like spicy. Now we don't need to know all the details, Uncle Curtis. But keeping things spicy. Like, how do you all make sure that stays healthy? Like, just especially like, I guess, like you said, you've been together for forever. So keeping things spicy, making it still feel new. Like, how do you all keep that up?
Well, I think I'm a freak.
I
So
know.
I think you know that already.
I
And
absolutely
so
know.
I
I
just recently heard that. She was like, I'm gonna give you a pre-warning. Kiara will tell you straight up. She don't be surprised by what she say on this podcast.
let me tell y'all in America, okay? Do whatever it is that you two agree to do in the bedroom, and that is what's going to keep it spicy. So have those conversations. Well, what do you like? What have you been finding is turning you on? What would you like to try that we have not tried? And then still keep the fun even in that. Like he told you he works shift work. And sometimes when he's at work and I'm at home, we may check in and he'll say things like, "Oh, it's too much like a job over here." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You want me to suck you long time when you get home?" It's just stuff like that. Have fun with it. Give him something to look forward to when he comes home. Um, the other day he came out the bathroom and before I say this, don't forget to compliment one another.
Mhm.
Make your spouse feel like, man, that's still my boyfriend, that's still my girlfriend, as if you hadn't seen them in forever, and that who is this fine person? Like, you have to keep them complimented. One day he took a shower and he came in the living room and he had a wife beater on. I'm like, boy, who is that? With this wife beater? Looking good to me. Like, I'm gonna let him I'll let it be known how he makes me feel. And he be like, you just gassing me up. No, I am serious, sir. You look so good to me. And I'm gonna tear you up tonight afterwards, and make on your promises. Make sure them promises are kept. And that's how
So
I am with him all the time. Am I lying about that?
no. So she is right. We try to stay regular. We try to go back and forth through communication, text and stuff because I do work, shift work. And then there are times where she just did a photo shoot for her upcoming play. And then she sent me the pictures and I'll send them back to her like, ooh, I like this one. These the thighs and this one right here. That's something that's going on right there.
I was gonna
So,
ask y'all if
uh,
y'all send pictures because y'all got different shifts. If y'all be sending pictures throughout the day.
You know what? I have not sent any nudie pictures to him, I want to say, in years. When
Mm.
he was deployed, baby, I had that Polaroid and was was shipping them on off to Italy or wherever he was at. I was definitely doing it then. Like, you missing this at home, man. This is waiting for you when you come in by 8 months.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah, it hasn't been so much pictures, but it's definitely verbal. I do and emojis. I'll send emojis and stuff to explain what I'm feeling or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So do you all use like games or like do you what do you
Yes,
guys do?
we
Like
use
y'all know
toys.
is
We use toys, we use games,
yes.
um, and conversation. Like I said, going back to the conversation, the other night I asked him, "What is your fantasy?" And to see if it's something that I'd be willing to fulfill for him. Like, just really not being so scared to talk about those things and not get
Mhm.
offended either. Like, your bedroom is sacred because you two agreed upon it. So
Mhm.
whatever you agree upon doing, that is sacred.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
have we have our Kansas City friend Miss Alicia Olatunde. She's a sex therapist and she always says you do what you have the faith for. And
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I absolutely love that. Um so I want to switch gears. It's still, on the topic of fun, but what are some of your like memorable moments from I guess the time that you started dating up until now? What are some like maybe one or two memorable moments that you guys can share? Well, two each that may explain.
Now you're asking for two each, and
Yeah,
there
two. No, I was two from you and two from Keith.
you want to go first because I have several, and I don't know how to boil them, boil it down to two
Go
at the
ahead,
moment.
babe.
Um, so the very first time uh I saw her, sixth grade, going between fifth and sixth period, I think. She used to wear these blue Wilson shirts and noticed, oh, that's a new girl. And so that's one of my favorite memories of seeing her, passing her in the hall every day, never spoke to her at that point in time. And then here we are 25 years into it. So that's to me it's movie like, and I understand that it's not practical for everyone, but for me it is. It's really movie like sense. So that's one of them. um and then let me go through my Rolodex and figure out the next one.
Okay. I have a lot as well. We have so much history. I remember when we first said that well, I remember us even hooking up. We had like a little argument as best friends because he was into this girl named Sparkle. And I was like, she ain't gonna do nothing but hurt your feelings. I tried to get him not to go to her, and he did anyway, and she did do him dirty. And so he stopped talking to me for a little while. So in that break is when I just really reflected on him, and I was like, man, I really want to be with him. And so I had called him up and we were talking and we made up, and I was like, I just think that we need to just be together. We need to be together. And he said, well, let's do it and see where it goes. And here we are. And I just remember that conversation. And I thank God for that because we have built a beautiful life together from that decision. It could have been that we stopped being friends and never talked again.
Yeah.
But that wasn't in God plan. We got a beautiful son out of it, and moments like this where we get to share our story. So all from that conversation. So that is a beautiful moment there. Um, Man, prom night. We had a beautiful time prom night in the backseat of his brother car. But we ain't bring home, we never brought home any babies or anything. We still had our head on straight. And we were just still friends. Like I can't stop talking about how much we still cherish our friendship throughout everything as well. The times of spending time on, we make our pallet on the floor in his living room when we were in high school watching TV, and just not be, our parents didn't worry about us because they knew we were good kids. And yeah, we have so many memories. We could be on here all night.
I absolutely love that.
So I'll say for my second memory, I'll boil it down to a vow renewal.
Mhm.
That was special to me because we've been through several separations in this 25 years, and like you said, you grow apart, you decision making, life, period. And so after we reconciled in 15, we did our 15-year vow renewal in 16. And so that was special. We always try to do events. One, I like to dress up. Two, I like to try and pull people out of their comfort zone, especially in our culture. We have a tendency to stay stuck in it. And so therefore we did our vow renewal at a glass factory where they blow glass and stuff like that there. Then and that was special and stuff to bring those people out and to also celebrate us in that moment.
I
Yeah.
agree with you.
And it's good. I love that you guys shared about, the real, the authenticity about that, sometimes you can have disagreements. Sometimes you can get to that place of you're really not sure if you can go on, but you all were able to come back together and you were still able to rekindle your friendship, first of all,
Mhm.
and get back to that place of where you started remembering our why. Why do we come together in the first place? Why I really love you, what I love about you. And I don't know if you guys have watched any of our podcasts, but we had an episode with Dr. Douglas Petty, who came on and talked about like 12 questions before marriage. And so, he was talking about how the main question is really asking a person, like, what do you love about me? Because sometimes we can get so like caught up in how fine somebody is, or what they got, or what they can do for you, or what your parents think who you should be with, or
Mhm.
whatever that case is, because we know starting off at that younger age, we don't know nothing about that and what that means. We don't know
We
what
don't
that
know
means.
anything about ourselves at that age.
Right.
Right.
Right. Or what that really means to even like love somebody or get to know the depths of who they are because they still learn who they are themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I just think that that's a beautiful thing that you guys were able to come back from that. And I think a
Oh
lot more
yeah.
people should tell their story about that.
Honey, it
Um,
got ugly. It got real ugly in that 10th year of our marriage. And and this is no shade against my husband, but if I had the choice to do it differently, I definitely would not have gotten married as early as we did, because I wish that we could have given ourselves some time, not only to learn about ourselves, but to learn about one another. As kids, sometimes the trauma that you go through in your life doesn't show. But the older you get and the more experiences that you are engaged with in life as an adult, it forces your traumas to come out. It forces certain triggers to pop off. And so your spouse not knowing what that was or ever identifying that, that's new to them. You don't know how to react to them. All you think is that they tripping, they ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. That's where that disconnect starts happening at. And so that's why the engagement period is so important before you get married, so that you can have those conversations that the doctor was talking about. And part of that conversation is, what did you go through in your life? Let's just go and keep it real. What did you go through in your life? What are your triggers? And I'm learning that even now, that that's actually some valid questions for any relationship, any partnership, sisterhood, best friends, all of them. We need to ask those type of questions, because if I say something that triggers you, you're now hurt and upset with me. I have no idea that I've hurt you because of something that is deep in you that came out because I triggered that. So yeah, that's why those engagement periods are so important. We didn't necessarily have an engagement period. We graduated high school, we were engaged right out of high school. He went off to basic training. I started off college waiting for him to get through. When he was done with basic training and then tech school, we were off to California at our first duty station. Like, it all happened boom, boom, boom,
Yes,
because we
within
were
in
all
the
up in
first
love.
year. And she said a lot of stuff. You got to figure out your things you've been through as a child and childhood trauma, and growing through that, peeling that back, discovering it, naming it. That's a huge portion of it. And then, sorry, you said that what I think both of us have an advantage of in life is that we've never cared what anyone thought of us. We've never tried to live up to anyone's expectations of what they thought we should do, what they thought our marriage should look like. That also been saying that we didn't have a good model of what marriage looked like. So we had to piece this together of what marriage looks like and bring it back full circle and stuff. And then in that, you know, 10 through year 15 is where we made the choice. And I tell people all the time, at some point in time, your spouse is going to do something that's really going to irk you. And you may call it your ground zero and you're out. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But you can also just make the decision of, we going to go through this. And that, I think that's what we've done. We've made the decision, we're going to be married, and we're going to continue to get over these humps and these bumps in the road. And we're going to continue again to grow, learn each other, and love on each other.
Mhm. Hmm.
Yeah, and I
So
think
what?
so.
Oh, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Twin.
Drew. I was just gonna say, I think some good takeaways from what you guys just shared also is that it's not important. I mean, it's one thing, and it's important that you all are continually learning each other, but it's just as important to continue learning yourself.
Mm.
Because that betters you being able to communicate with your spouse what you need, understand yourself, learn to understand your triggers, and we talked about before too, like the marriage relationship, one of the greatest ways to show you who you really are, things that you don't even realize that's there. And so
Yes, indeed.
it takes a certain amount of humility and grace and um, vulnerability. Like I could just keep going to
Yeah.
not only be understanding towards that person, but also yourself as you're trying to learn. Because I mean, like I said, things come up, and I'm with there with you guys because I told you we've been together a long time too. I've voiced to my girls before, like I know what you guys have seen as far as me and Dad been together a long time, but if I could, if I could change it, well, I don't regret being with him at all because I don't. But just looking back, like I wish we would have waited a little bit longer because we also didn't have the best example of a marriage. We also came straight. I mean, as soon as I was old enough to get my marriage license, we did. And my dad
Yeah.
looked at me like, what y'all about to do?
We
Do what?
looked at her like like I was like, well, how does that work? Zeta Renee.
She left me and went to hers. Like she was sitting in here crying and moaning and groaning, and then I pushed her
Oh,
that way, and she walked into there.
You say y'all didn't listen. Ain't nobody paying attention
But
to you.
Zeta. Big butt self.
America
right.
beat Zeta.
Oh my goodness. But I'm so glad that you all shared that because marriage, I mean, like you said at the beginning, you don't like when people say marriage is hard. It does take a lot of work and patience
Of
and
course,
love
yeah.
and
Yeah.
understanding and
Mhm.
consideration, all of the things, because as Dr. Petty told us that or on the retreat, we're bringing two different worlds
Come on.
together with all the mess that's going on in these separate worlds. We're bringing them together and colliding them. But then you have to make the decision when you're starting to create a new world with that is, with you all, you have to like start filtering out, okay, well, we didn't have a good example of what a marriage was starting off, so let's like push them bad examples out and focus on doing this right. We
Yeah.
didn't have a good example of what parenting may have looked like, so let's push those bad ideas away. So I'm so glad, because it doesn't put rose colored
Right.
glasses on the whole thing of marriage, and people going into it thinking it's going to be, oh, we going to lay up all day and have sex every day, and
That's the TV, child. That's the TV.
yes, that is the
And it
TV.
also goes back to what Tierra was saying about vulnerability. You guys have to be, and I'm saying you guys, the couples that are watching this, you have to be vulnerable enough to accept help. Like
Mm-hmm.
God blesses us with a village to help with our marriage. We cannot do this by ourselves. So don't be afraid to share what you're going through with
Mm-hmm.
other couples, because they probably went through the same thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
now they can guide you, they can lead you, they can counsel you, hold you accountable. That's the other part. We
Yeah.
want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So be vulnerable enough to be held accountable for your actions and try to get that thing right. I put marriage, raising children, running a business, all of that is in the same box. You cannot do it by yourself. The
Mm-hmm.
village is very important. So, married men, you need to be around some Christian married men. Emphasis on Christian, because you don't know the motives of a lot of people's hearts. Everybody's marriage is not sacred. You got people that, yeah, we got an open marriage, and then now they trying to advise that to you, or maybe y'all need to try to go. No, 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 no,
Mm-mm.
no. Get some people who are going to give you some solid, some real, and some biblical advice about what marriage is supposed to look like. Same thing for the ladies. Ain't no way I'm gonna go to a single woman asking for some advice, because what can you tell me, sis? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be very intentional to make the thing work. Um,
yeah.
the other thing that I was going to say about marriage is that shoot, Zeta just threw me off. I can't remember. I had it in my spirit too.
Well, while you're thinking of that, I just want to say real quick that everything you just said is the whole reason why we created this organization and created this space. because we really wanted other couples to have other couples to not only hold them together, support them, encourage the date nights. Let's take trips together. Let's love on one another, and let's share within one another our own experiences and learn from one another, so that we're not making those mistakes. Because we know that everybody needs a village, and you may not already have that village or the most healthy village. So let's create one.
Absolutely.
Let's make one where we can support, love on one another, teach each other, but have fun together, share things. Let's learn new things together, because things are changing and advancing through, these different generations of being more free, having more freedom to talk about different things. At first, nobody was going to talk about sex. Nobody was going to talk about exploring different things. But now it's like, no, who created it? Who created sex in the first place?
Yeah, see, every
Why?
emotion that you feel, he created.
Yeah.
Every emotion. We need to break the generational curses, because that's all generational curses. I was just reflecting on a lot of stuff that my great grandmother, because I was fortunate enough to see my great great grandmother alive, my great grandmother, all my grandparents. All my grandparents are still living, and so I was reflecting the other day, like, man, they told me some stupid stuff. Now that I think about it, and unfortunately, it's because it was told to them and it was told to that person, and we just keep passing it down. And one of the most horrible advice pieces I think that any, especially the Black culture, have passed down generation to generation is what goes on in your house stays in your house. That's true to some extent. When you need help, go get help. That's just a point blank period situation there. If you having some problems in your relationship, go get help. It doesn't stay, because then you just keeping it in between the two of you, and it's the two of you that's the problem.
And
Exactly.
I say that she said, go get help and stuff. And yes, that's very true. You can't do it on your own. Self-help isn't help. I'm a big advocate for therapy. However that may look like, whether it be couple, personal, people say, well, what can it do for me? And I tell them, try it. They,
And can I
they,
say, babe, would try it. He's not saying go in there with your mind made up of what they're
Right.
supposed to tell you.
Right.
Go in there decreased. And what I mean by that is go in there and with a mindset ready to receive. Just hush, sit down, be open, talk about it, but don't go in with your perceived thoughts on what it's supposed to be, because that's when it doesn't work, because you were expecting them to say one thing and they said something different. And now you chuck that up to, well, it didn't work for me.
Or then plan
yes,
on going in or not talking.
yes, you have to go. And when you talk, you have to be 100% honest, open, and vulnerable. That's the only way that therapy works. That's the only way you can get anything out of it. And people say, well, I don't understand how that can help me talking to someone. Well, there are tools, there are things, practices that you can put in place when those thoughts come up and conversations come up, relaxing, grounding yourself. Those are things that cause us not to want to communicate. And then so you can learn some of these tactics and practices that can help you relax so that communicating can be easier, so you can be more open. And so, yes, that like Keith said, that you can't do it on your own. That's why these people go and get these degrees and learn these things so they can help and share with others.
And I
And I
so
think that
appreciate you. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I so appreciate you as a Black man coming on here to say that, because it's a lot of our brothers that don't want to, that don't think it can help them, that don't think it's beneficial. So I just want to say I appreciate you saying that.
absolutely.
Problem.
And I was just going to add on to it that even if you don't go to someone with a degree, the elders, The elders got much to say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
They
better sit
definitely
down
do.
on that floor Indian style and take a listen.
Mm.
Right, with your journal notebook.
Listen, I need a journal. Get that big old Bible that your grandmother used to
Yep.
have. Get you a notebook like that because I'm pretty
Yep.
sure they got some stories to share with us.
And
Yeah.
probably gonna
Yeah.
feed you while they sharing them.
Hey, come
Yep.
on. I will take a
Yep.
plate of greens. I will.
Right. With a side of cornbread.
Mm.
Hot water. Hot water
Yep.
for it.
Yes, yes. Well,
Mm.
Lewis, we have enjoyed you all being on here today. I would like to have you guys back to talk about, I don't know, something. I will make up something. I don't know.
However, look, whenever y'all want us, you got us, boo boo.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
for allowing us to do this. It was great, fun. Nice to
Mhm.
meet you, Tierra.
Nice to meet
I've heard
you.
about Roxanne. I'd like to meet Roxanne in person one day
Me too.
because
You
I
will.
just want to see this in person.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. And I'm the man when I take her little candy, when I have some candy, I'm like, see,
Cheetos
can
and all.
And look, I'm ready too. Auntie Kiera ready to give her some Jolly Ranchers. I've been waiting.
right, right. I'm like, can she have some nerd clusters? I give her a couple nerd clusters.
Let's just go get her some penny candy, okay? Penny
Right, a
candy
whole
for
bag.
Roxanne.
Right. Well, y'all, I'm gonna have because here's the thing, before I do all the closing out and stuff, I just want to say I love how you all support one another. Um Uncle Curtis has said a couple times that Keeks is an entrepreneur. When I say Ke'Ira is, if it's a business that Ke'Ira know how to do, she gonna start it, okay? Because she is that girl. Look, Ke'Ira and Tierra, both of y'all eras are the same. But
High five, my sister. High five.
right. But Ke'Ira has a show coming up. I don't want to give all the details because I want to give you the chance to explain what your show is that's coming up. I just so happen to be in it.
Yes, yes.
But can you give us or just let us know a little bit about what you have going on, your shows, because you have two coming up this year, right? So,
Yeah, there are two shows coming, spring and fall shows. What Adrian is referencing is my play called Loving You. It's a stage play that I wrote, and we are actually performing part 3 of it. This is the grand finale of this particular script. And I actually think that whatever couples are watching this, you definitely need to come. April 12th and 13th, you have 2 different nights that you can watch it and choose from. And it's dinner theater, so you'll be getting fed real good.
mhm,
But the reason why I say come is because we're here talking about love. And that's exactly what this script is talking about, how to properly love yourself first so that you then can uphold the standard of your love to the person that wants to be your boo, your bae, your husband, or your wife. Because that's the most important thing that we didn't touch on much on tonight is that you first have to love yourself before you can allow anyone to love you in the way that you want to be loved. You got to identify what love even looks like or feels like to you and who's better to do it than you for yourself. So
mhm,
that's what this play is about. You see that through different relationships, and I'm the main character, Joanne. No, I don't play in all my plays. It just so happened fell that way, okay? But your very own Adrian is coming from behind the scenes. She's
mhm.
normally laying down vocals for us, but she's also going to be on the stage actually acting like Angela Bassett with a little bit of
Right.
Whitney from Waiting to Exhale. He's a
Right.
man, Savannah. He- So yeah, April 12th and 13th. Tickets are at imkdl.com. And I would love to see the couples in the building so that we can go out there and this is what that generational wealth looks like. It starts with us. It's not about the cars and the houses. and the money necessarily, but also the mindset and the relationships that we're leaving behind with our children and how they are going to pour into their generation and the generations after that. So it starts with this type of stuff here.
Good, good. And Uncle Curtis, I know you be throwing down in the kitchen, and I know that there were concepts. There were concepts of a food truck or something going on, or a
Yes.
Girl,
business.
we trying to work on him, but he ain't. My husband don't be liking to people, y'all.
Me either.
I think it was one of you all that talked about the individuals coming to the different people coming together. I'm the people person, and my husband just like give me
I feel you, Uncle
give me an
Curtis.
application so I can look it over and see if I want to be your friend. Then we'll go through the interview process. That's my husband.
Yeah.
That's me
Yes,
too.
I'm 100% not a people person, but yes, I do love to cook.
Mhm.
Um I like to cook for friends, family and stuff. So maybe one day
Now, how he
as the
making
career
friends,
slows
y'all?
down.
How he making friends if he don't like to?
My
Look, now
friends are
Uncle
so
Curtis,
I have the we have
we
the
having a Super
same.
Bowl get together on Sunday. If y'all want to come and join us, and then you can bring us something you can, scratch together real quick.
I just want the people to
Appreciate
know
it,
that
appreciate it.
Zeta has laid all
Unfortunately I
play in
work
my
the
back.
next day.
Okay.
No,
So
not Zeta is all up in Keek's lap. Like she tried to be held. Uh
she's upset.
Um,
Zeta, just give us a few more minutes. Give us, well, I guess you're gonna stay on your lap. Well, y'all, I'm gonna have all of Keek's links down below, and then she's also gonna be this week's business highlight because I want y'all to see everything. And then y'all can, well, Uncle Curtis, well, since Uncle Curtis don't like people, and I don't know if you want people to follow you on the socials.
I don't I have socials, but I don't really do anything on them.
Mm.
So
I was curious
Well,
to see how he was gonna answer this one. I was like, let
right.
me put
I'm
my
be
hand on my cheek and see how he gonna answer that. But that is a great surprise to hear. I mean, highlighted Zeta was all in my face, so I couldn't even show my emotions. Somebody coming. If somebody is looking for a fur child that's watching this podcast, we got one for you.
She
Great,
too
great
big.
thing.
That's a horse over there. She too
yeah.
big. She is way too big. But y'all, I will have all of Keek's information down below. She's gonna also be the business highlight this week. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We adore you two. I appreciate you all coming on here and
Thank
making
you
me
for
Yeah, it's
laugh.
been great chatting with you
And
thank
guys.
you, thank you.
yes, yes. And before we get out of here, like we always say, a good thing is not hard to find.
But
Yeah.
it takes work to keep it.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Mhm.
I deserve some
does.
snaps.
Yes.
Yes. Getting
Until
higher
next
tonight.
right. Until next week, y'all. We love you. Be safe. Happy Super Bowl. Happy Kendrick Lamar halftime concert. Because that's what's important to me. Happy
Yeah,
Black History Month.
Yes.
yes.
Y'all be safe.
Valentine's coming up.
Valentine, all the what else is in February? Everything, all the February happies.
And y'all look, the couples out there watching this, y'all make sure y'all do something extra special Valentine's night. Don't do the regular stuff.
Right.
Pull out pull out all the tricks and the stops.
Oh,
And if you ain't got nothing, go hit up the stove.
Yeah. Or hit
all
me
right.
up. I'll share a few things with you. Hit me up.
Right, right. Look, ooh, look, I'm over here getting hot and nervous. Oh, all right, y'all. Until next week.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey fam, this week's highlight is the beautiful Miss Ke'Ira Lewis. Ke'Ira is the owner of multiple successful businesses, including 618 Business and Event Center, ETC, Event Planning, and KDL Productions, just to name a few. She is releasing the third installment of her Loving You series stage play called Baggage and Insecurities in April. And guess what? I'll be playing the role of Lisa. The show's scheduled run is April 12th through 13th at the Caseyville Community Center in Caseyville, Illinois. So get your tickets now at iamkdl.com. You can find all of the links below in the description, and we will see you there.